Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So today we're doing a wheel hub assembly replacement and a rear brake replacement on my wife's 2013 Honda CR-V EXL. I went with the TRQ. I'm gonna read this out for you so you all know what it is. BHA 54406, that's Bravo Hotel Alpha 54406. This is the TRQ. Genuine Honda is great if you want to pay the $200 per wheel bearing. I got two of these for $135, and let's hope this does the trick. I was getting a low hum from the rear, about 40 miles an hour and up, and I'm thinking it's a wheel bearing. This is process of elimination, of course, for me, and I had to replace the rear brakes anyways. I'll also do the diff fluid front and rear, and I'll tag that in another video. We typically do off-roading in this video, but this is actually kind of like a DIY, save yourself $2,000 from having to go spend $200 an hour at the mechanic. So we're gonna show you how to do this. It's pretty easy. If you don't have a high torque impact, you're gonna wanna take that wheel nut, axle nut off while the tire's on the ground. Or what I did is I slipped something underneath the tire so it couldn't spin, so I don't have to keep jacking it up and down to take this stuff off. So I'm not gonna talk a lot. I'm gonna just show you what I'm doing, and we're gonna kind of go from there. All right, safety first. Make sure everything is up. You got your jack stands up. I've got my jack stand up, so make sure y'all are just being safe when you're doing this. If you have a impact driver, that's great. So to take these lug nuts off, I am using a 3/4 impact, my DeWalt. However, make sure before you lift this up, you break these loose already, and this will make the process go a lot easier. I'm gonna use gloves because everything is dirty, brake dust is nasty, and this is gonna be kind of a messy job, and hopefully this side goes a little bit faster than the other side. All right, make sure those don't go nowhere. Pop this tire off. All right, so next thing we're gonna do is I'm gonna take this brake caliper off. I gotta do the brakes anyways, so when we're doing that, I believe it is a 17 millimeter on the rear, so 17, so that's actually not accurate. This one is going to be a 12 millimeter. So in order to take the caliper off, it's going to be 12 millimeter. They may be torqued on, so you know, just give them some hits to crack them loose. Take your time, don't rush through it, make sure you're doing it right. Grab my magnetic holder. This caliper off. Let me see if you might need something to kind of pry it a little bit. Make sure you set this somewhere where you're not going to be losing it. Last time I kind of set it up here and I was good. Take these off. You can tell these are pretty bad. Just old. Next one we're gonna do is we're gonna need a little love on those. So these are gonna be is going to be a 17 millimeter. To take the bracket off here, you're going to want something a little stronger because these are typically torqued on. So I'm going to use my reverse torque to actually take this off. Right. Make sure you all check these. They're good. They're okay. I will end up taking these off though and re-lubing them, clean them, make sure they're working good. Okay, so I think they're called a gist screw. You can see here. It's going to be this this screw here. We're going to try to hit it with my impact Phillips. It may or may not come off, and we will have to drill it out as another option. All right, so if you live in a rusty area, it's not going to want to come out. So we're gonna drill it. I'm using a 21 64ths bit. Make sure it's tight. And this happens a lot. If they're going to rust, it's just the way it works. If you live in the Rust Belt, or we're not necessarily in the Rust Belt, but this has been up and down, and this is old. These probably haven't been changed in, gosh, I don't even know. I've never changed them, and I've owned it for 3 years. So we're going to drill this bolt out. You don't really need it anyways. Yeah, so wear your safety goggles and all right. If we need to do more, we'll do a little more once we get in there. So after that, we are going to we're going to go ahead and I'm going to break this loose here, undo the axle nut. Bend that up. So now that we got that bent up, in order to take this off, you are going to have to either put the tire back on and then stop that tire from spinning, and use a 32 millimeter on the Honda CR-V. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to go like this. We're going to pop this back out, put this back on. We're going to put this tire back on in a minute. Just make sure you pop this center cap off. Ah, shit. Right. Hey, you're fine. I do not have a high torque impact. Maybe I should buy one. But with the money I saved, I guess I could justify the cost in buying one. All right. So here comes your wheel nut. That thing is old. Oh, golly. Wow, what a pain. Jeez, old Pete, man. That did not want to come off. Okay, so this exposes your wheel hub assembly now that I'm tired. It's pretty dirty. So the next thing we're gonna do is we need to take the bolts off behind here. And again, this can be a task because there's not a lot of room back here. And they're most likely torqued to, I think it's 83 foot-pounds, but double check for your application. But I'm gonna just double check. Oh, that's with my 3/4. Should be my 17 mil. Okay, 17 millimeter. Let me see if I can show you guys if the camera's gonna see. It's these bolts here. All right, so that's what you're gonna be doing. Be from a different angle. You're gonna take those 4 bolts out, okay? That's what we're gonna be doing now. I'm be taking those 4 bolts out. You guys can kind of watch me struggle. Oh. And there you have it. And there's that screw that was broken. And there's that old wheel hub. Not sure if this side was the one making the issue, but I already had the other one off. I said, we're gonna go ahead and replace it. You want to spray this down with brake cleaner. If you can see here though, right here is a wheel sensor. Pull this out with I believe it's a 12 millimeter. Just pull it out so you're not spraying it full of brake cleaner.
What are you doing to that full car?
Get your 12 mil, and we're gonna just move. Oh, I lied. It's not a 12 mil, guys. I'm sorry. It is a 10. I believe it's the 10. Yeah, this is gonna be a 10 mil. It's really small. It's the. Yep. We're just gonna loosen this. You're gonna pull it out. And we're gonna spray it down. I just wanna make sure it's not getting brake fluid on this wheel speed sensor and And it's just better off doing it this way so it's not messing with it. You just pull it back, let it sit, and let's spray her down. So go ahead and clean it all up. My can's done. Good thing I bought another one. Go in here and just make sure those splines are clean. Doesn't look too bad. All this other stuff is your emergency brake. And I'm gonna keep that sensor up and out of the way until we're done and we're putting the wheel sensor back on. So you can use bearing grease. I'm gonna throw a little Never Seas on, only for the purpose of helping it just seat. You don't have to throw a lot on, that's kind of a lot, but whatever. Not always more the merrier, but in this case, I'm okay with it. All right. Now we have our brand new wheel bearing. Now, it's gonna look like I'm struggling putting this on. I swear it's not as complicated when you're actually doing this, but it does take a minute to get it situated. To get this situated properly where your holes are lined up and everything goes on correctly. So be patient, give it time, and you know, just kind of sit here and get it right. All right, guys, so here you're seeing me put on this wheel hub assembly. You're going to get a little bit of pushback coming from the CV axle. Obviously, it's an opposing force. So we're looking to align this up so you can actually thread your bolts from the rear again using that 17mm bolt. Once that is threaded, you're going to be good to go. If you need to take this off, take it off, readjust it. It's going to not be perfect, and you're going to feel that little bit of play. When you put those bolts on, along with the axle nut, it is all going to come together and sync together. So even though it feels like you're pushing the CV joint out, just keep in mind that you're going to have that pressure. It's going to be pushing back on you. As long as you felt it sync properly, you can thread those bolts. The axle nut and those bolts are going to marry this whole unit together once you are done. Make sure to check your manufacturer's spec for your torque specification. Okay, that's 80 foot-pounds. Okay. Next, we're gonna go ahead and put our new brake caliper on, and I'm gonna go ahead and clean up this caliper here real quick before we put it on. Okay, guys, so we're gonna go ahead and get this caliper put back together here a second, and then we're going to be homeward bound. Okay, guys, I do recommend doing the brakes, you know, with this. We're going to pop this this axle nut on real quick. Just remember, this will all marry up here shortly. So we're gonna go get the new wheel, new disc brake real quick. I'm not replacing the JIS screw because it's always gonna rust out. However, if you were gonna do that, there's a little screw hole hub here. So we wanna go like this, and that would be how you're gonna marry it right there. And then your screw would go in there. All that does is retain that. But what we're gonna do is, I went ahead and re-lubed this. You can get new parts for this if you want to. Mine are working just fine now. I took these out, cleaned it, put some new lubrication grease in there meant for these pins, and we're going to go ahead and get this situated back on here. Got 80 foot-pounds on here. We're going to move on to our next step. We're going to get the new hardware installed for the brakes, because we're also doing brakes. There is one tricky part on these brakes, and it's going to be getting this out and getting this in, because this is kind of silly. But we're going to go ahead and get these mounted here. Silly as it seems, I'm gonna use my, whoops, just gonna use my screwdriver here, my flathead. To get that mounted there. These can be a little funny to get these on too. They're supposed to just stick up there, but you know how these are. See, you're supposed to just go like that. You can put some grease on here. I typically put a little never seize on here just so the brakes can move back and forth. The hard part though is, let me get adjusted real quick. I've been working on this for, I think the other side took me a little longer because it was my first time. And then this side is a little different. So I'm gonna take this out. All right. So did I bring my, you're gonna want your C-clamp. Make sure before you do all this, sorry I didn't mention this, is pop the brake reservoir off underneath the hood, because when we go ahead and compress this brake line, this caliper, it's going to push out some of that fluid. Now it doesn't have to be anything crazy when you take this out. Looks like I'm gonna have to compress this a little bit. But it did. I think the hardest part for me was to get this on, and this is the wear indicator, and it goes down. So wear indicator down, and it pushes into the caliper. This should come in and sit like so. I'm gonna switch positions again, because we're gonna swing this around like this, and that should marry up like that, right? It's pretty easy, you know, if everything is cooperating. You know, it's not so bad. Pop these screws back in. I think so. You can go ahead and torque these screws to your manufacturer's recommended torque specification. I'm just gonna tighten them by feel. But you can definitely torque these down. I believe the 4th gen, I had my torque specs up here. Torque spec. 17 foot-pounds. I do have one that goes to 17 foot-pounds. But again, I'm just gonna hit this with I believe this was my 12 millimeter, if I'm not mistaken. Yep, 12 millimeter. just get them tight or torque them to 17 foot-pounds if you have a 4th gen, or double check your manufacturer's recommendation. All right, those are tight to me. Okie dokie. The way basically everything is done at this point, I'm gonna retorque down this axle bolt, and the axle bolt should be to 133 foot-pounds, which is what I have this set at. Did I set that to it? I lied. I didn't have it set. All right. All right, it's 133 foot-pounds, and I did forget a step. So now we do have to jack this darn thing back up, but I only need to do it to this side because I already did it to the other side. We need to set that key, which means I need to hit it with my my pin, and I need to set that key so it can't rotate at all. So that's what we're gonna do. So easy day, not a big deal. So I'm gonna use this right here because it's a flat head. I'm just gonna strike it off from this side with my hammer. So kind of like this. I'll show you in just a second. Try not to hit my finger. One more. Do that one. I know. This probably is good right here. So your end result is going to be striking that down. All right guys, and there you have it. We're all changed and ready to go. Everything's torqued back up, dropped to the ground. I'm going to go test it out and try to, I think it's called bedding these brakes back in, and we're gonna see if I can hear the hum and see if what we did fixed it. So let's see what happens. All right guys, so got done driving the CR-V, replaced both wheel bearings, both new brakes. I was getting a low hum, 40 miles an hour and up. It was constant, and I went for a 10-15 minute drive to bed into the brakes. Good, working awesome, and no more hum. No more hum. So that was what did it. So both new wheel hub assemblies. So essentially I just bought the whole thing, and I'll put all the information in the description. Hopefully this video helped. I'm sorry it's a little sloppy, but again, hopefully it helped. It was my only second time doing this, so maybe it'll give you an idea. Just a DIY home remedy instead of going and bringing it to a mechanic that's gonna cost you an arm and a leg. So all it costs you is your time. So hope you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, and God bless.